Right then, so I've got my brushes. I've got some kitchen roll here. Keep it on hand just to take the excess water out. So I'm using the number 6 first. As I say though, use whatever brush is comfortable for yourself. Give it a good stir, make sure you've got plenty of pigment on. Take some of the excess off there so you've got a nice point on your brush. Right, so the first one I'm going to put about here because it's going to be coming over partly onto the moon. Now remember, tree trunks don't necessarily go in a straight line, so I'm going to pull this up around there, up there, pick a bit more paint up. Okay, pull it up there a bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to leave that bit there for now, and then I'm going to make sure we've got, coming up here, another branch of the tree. Okay, it comes up one more main branch there. And then we've got a few branches coming off there. Coming off of there. Okay, I've got a couple coming round this way.
You want these cases bringing up?
Clean the brush. Pick up the paint, and then coming off this one here, I've got one that it's bent that way, and then it bends back that way. And then this is a smaller one in the middle. Okay, so up there. Stop there for now. Okay, then I'm going to come now to this big one here. This is going to the main one. So again, I'm going to come up with this, with the trunk. And come at a slight angle. A quick turn in it there. A few twists there. And then it's going to branch off. It's going to have one main branch there that comes off up here, gets a bit smaller. It's got one big branch here that just literally is broken off. So we'll just put that there, quite dark. And this bit here is where it forks off into another branch. That goes up there. Okay, so we've got the main structure there of the trees. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put in the foliage bit of the tree so we can see where that is, and then I'm going to work the finer branches into the foliage. Okay, so for the foliage, you could do several things. You could use a tree and texture brush to get the texture at the top, or you could use a round brush and using that and stipple it, or we could use a filbert brush for the tops of the trees if we wanted. So it's entirely up to you. It depends on what sort of effect you want on the tops of the trees. So like an oval wash brush you could use, so you get like this little top bit there, which makes quite nice designs on your brushes as well. But I'm going to use this time. I'm just going to use a tree and texture brush. Okay. Make sure this brush is clean. Take off the excess water. Now I'm going to be using the same colours, obviously. But I need to make sure they are quite thick. And then take off quite a bit of the excess. There. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just trying it on there to make sure I get the effect. So that's with a tree brush. If you're using a round brush, as I say, you're just using it and stippling basically like that and building up your colour. Or you can use like a round oval brush, and you can use it in that way there, so you get that effect. So it's entirely up to you which way you want to choose. Okay, so I'm going to use the tree and texture brush. So this one here, I'm going to do it so that it goes into the, partly into the moon. Now this bit's quite dense on the ends. These trees have quite dense foliage there. And then just a little bit coming in. So this is going to look a little bit strange to start with, but, and then I'm going to fetch it. So, and the edges are, they've sort of got just a very dark edge on them, this tree, but it's sort of a roundish edge. So I'm imagining this tree coming round to about here. And it's got some dark patches in here. That, some there. Some thinner ones there. So I'm going to leave that bit there. Looks very strange, I know, at the moment. So this one here is another tree coming off, and it's going to have some branches coming. So there's going to be a little bit of foliage there at the end. And then this one is going to come there like that, and it's going to come over into this bigger one here. And a bit of foliage down there. So you can see we've got the round that sort of thing there for that tree. We've got the round canopy for this lower tree, and then we're just going to do this very big tree up here. So this one is actually going to come up quite high on the paper. Okay. And then that foliage is going to come all the way down here. About there. Okay, so that's that for now. Right, so we're going to be going back over that in a bit, but next thing we're going to do is we're going to continue these branches now, and we've got to drive them into where this canopy is. So we're going to use a thinner brush. We used number 6 before, so now we're going to use the number 4 and the rigger. So we'll start with the number 4. So again, French ultramarine and some burnt umber, thick. So if you need to make a little bit more up, there you go. Okay, so it doesn't want to be, it wants to be fairly thick, but you need it so it's got a nice fluidity on the brush. Okay, make sure your brush has got a nice point on it again. So I'm going to pick some of these branches up where we left off. So go partly back into them like that, and then obviously release the pressure on the brush. Take them up to about there. Okay. And you can actually fetch some more off of the main trunk and take it to about there. Okay, that one there. Like that. So you just release the pressure as you go further up the branch. Okay, so continue with the other ones. So that's so pick it up, pull it across, release as you move up. Take the pressure off your brush so you get a thinner line. Fetch your brush more upright as well, and that will get you a finer line. And don't forget to keep twisting those branches so they get some really nice shapes, and attach it to the canopies of where we've put the canopy of the trees. And then these will start to look a little bit more like realistic trees, but we've still got a fair bit of work to do on them yet. So, oops. That one there can go up there, it can go there. So pull that into there. So the more pressure I'm on, the wider the branch, and then lift it to a point and pull it off there. Okay, and same with these. And just take them up towards the canopy of the tree. Okay, so we need some more coming up here because we've got this canopy bit here. There we go. So we've got them more or less joined up now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the rigger, which is a long, very long thin brush. They were designed for exactly what it says on the brush, rigging. This is a line writer actually, but you can get riggers which are for doing the rigging on boats. So they're slightly longer. They still have a point on them, but they are slightly longer. So if you can see, that's got a really nice long thin shape to it. So I'm just going to pull through the paint that way, not on there, so you get a nice sharp point on it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do lots of little fine, just lots of little fine branches that go off into that canopy again. And these in themselves, when they're all together and at a distance, they do form, and it just look like part of the canopy of the tree. Okay, so this part is where you can just relax and just doodle away until your heart's content, until you're quite happy with the results that you're going to get and the amount of branches that you've got coming off. And lots of fine branches at the ends there as well. Okay. Especially up towards the top end of the canopy. That's where you'll see most of them. So you put your brush on, put your pressure on, and then release it as you come to the end and lift it off your paper then. And that way you get lots of tiny little branch marks at the end of the... Okay. Go up into these bits where you've got some space on the canopies as well. Put lots of fine strokes in there for little canopy, little branches. Okay. Leaving quite some space down here. This is where these trees don't have a lot of... Most of the branches and things that come off it are up at the top end near the canopy of the tree, not at the bottom, up on the trunks of the trees. Okay, keep the paint flowing fluid. And as I say, when you get to the canopy, just lift it off the paper. Lots of crisscrossy branches in there like this. This is the part of the project where it's entirely up to you how much you put on there. Okay, so down to this one here. I'll put one here because we've got this going to this canopy here, so we want quite a few. So I'm just going to mix a bit more paint up there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back over this canopy. So I've got my tree brush again, or your round brush, whichever brush you're using. Just mix up a little bit more of this colour. And I'm just going to actually strengthen. Now we can see where all the branches go. We can actually strengthen and actually add a bit more depth of colour into the top of these trees. Okay. There we go. Put some little bits across where you've got all your little branches, just to add a bit more texture. Okay. Take the excess off, gently tap. And once you think you've done enough, okay. So if we just have a quick look at this now. So let me just have a quick look here. Right, just put a little bit more definition in there. Always keep standing back from your painting as well. That's a good tip, just so you can see how it is developing, and then you can see if you need to add any further touches to it. Okay, so I think that's enough in there. So we've got a nice atmospheric sky. We've got the moon there with all the little bits showing the shadows of the craters. And then we've got these silhouette trees. Okay, so let's take the tape off and have a look at what it looks like then with a bit of a border. So again, carefully pull the tape away from your painting, like that. Okay. Same down here. Usually if it's going to stick, it's down the bottom, because if you're leaning, you sometimes forget and lean over the picture. Okay. And pull it that side there. If it does feel like it's sticking, just stick the hairdryer behind it, and then that will melt the adhesive on the tape and pull it, so you can pull it off fairly easily. There we go. You can put some birds in the sky if you want, or just leave it like that. Again, that's entirely up to you. That's personalising it a little bit, so I might just put a little. Okay, if you're going to do that though, don't forget, like I said before, always make it an odd number. So there we have it. We've got a nice atmospheric sky with some silhouette trees and the moonlight in the background. Okay, so you can make your colours, you can pick your own colour scheme if you want. You could do it so it's really bright, vivid reds, just blues. You know, it's your choice. It's your painting, so it's your choice. But this just gives you an idea of adding some bits into it, but it gives you plenty of practice with the wet method for the sky. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you give it a go and just see what you get with the results, and try it on different papers, or even just try different colour schemes. Okay, you can change the way that the trees are. It's your painting. You do exactly what you want with it, but this just gives you some ideas. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I hope again to see you shortly. The next video I'm going to be doing is going to be on, I've been asked if I could do some florals. Now, florals are done in a slightly different way with watercolours. The techniques are slightly different. So on that, I will also be running alongside the landscapes. I'll still be doing the landscapes, but I'm also going to be starting to do some beginners work with like botanical floral work. Yes, there's lots of ways of doing flowers. We can paint them loose or we can do them more realistic. I tend to do them more realistic, so I will be showing you them methods. So we will be starting with that later on today. Okay, happy painting. Like to see your results, just post them up on the Facebook page and let me have a look. I'm quite welcome to have a look at them and tell you what I think. All right, thank you very much. Bye.